What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of our Oakland Athletics franchise here on MLB The Show 23. We flew through the first season because I wanted to get to this moment right here as fast as we could. From here going into year two, we'll be slowing down a little bit. Want to dive more into the seasons, get more into these players. Now that we'll have a chance starting here to really start the rebuild, right? We made a couple moves at the trade deadline and to get a couple more prospects, to get our ace in Trevor Rogers. Currently the only player over 80 overall. We're not going to be in the market or anything for players in the 90s, but if we could grab another couple players in the low 80s, that's kind of the tier of free agency I'm looking at. And just what I think we need. I think we need probably a couple starting pitchers, a couple relieving pitchers. I would like a first baseman who hits lefties, because Seth Brown hits righties well in any fields, but he is 30 contact versus lefties. I just think really caps his impact. And then I want another outfielder. In the outfield, I think we have two guys that I'm comfortable with starting next year. Ramon Laureano is going to stay in right field, and I think Lawrence Butler at center field. He hit well, 275 for us, with a near 800 OPS at 22. So going to have him play center field for us next year, but left field I think is wide open. And then I think I'd want a middle infielder. Right now we have Tyler Wade, who's on the MLB team. I think of him more as like a utility backup, right? He plays everything except for first base. And so I think he can be, an injury or just a platoon kind of guy. And then at second base, Tony Kemp is a free agent. I'm not opposed to bringing him back. He was okay last year, but I do want to just look at free agency, see if there's a possibility of somebody that we would view as an upgrade. Jace Peterson, I want to bring back. He is a free agent. That is somebody that I'm looking to re-sign. Other free agents, we have Trevor May. I'm probably going to let him test. Not opposed to bring him back either, as 2.19 ERA, 1.3 WHIP. Very good strikeout pitcher. I'd be happy to bring him back. We could see what he's asking for, basically, but I also wouldn't mind Streckenrider. These stats that he had in the 9 games and, MLB weren't that great, but he did have a really good year in AAA, so they're both asking for around like 3.5 mil. I'm willing to pay one of them that, but probably not both. And yeah, that's basically kind of my offseason plan. But before we even get to players, I think it's important to talk about staff. We are cleaning house in the staff. I looked at the staff. We had one A guy, and he was our pitching coach, but his contract just expired. But everyone else was just so bad. I know we are limited in budget. We will talk about that in a minute. But I just feel like paying the staff can pay dividends. And so I've already put out some offers for everyone. Let's see who I'm offering. Mark Pryor, who's been with the Dodgers, -1 bunting. I'm totally fine with that. A lot of people say just get somebody who doesn't have any negatives. I think that's the second best option. I think the best option is to get somebody who has negative bunting, because then the things that are positive are going to be even more positive. +3 contact, going to help us hit. +1 strikeouts per 9, going to help with that. And then +3 accuracy. Fielding, hitting, pitching helps us all in those, and all it costs us is 1 bunting. So really excited about him. The other guy I'm really excited about is Dowdy. -3 drag bunting, but we get +2 power, +2 contact, and +2 plate vision. In terms of a hitting coach, really, really hoping we can land Carl Dowdy here. New pitching coach, Scott Emerson was our last guy. Thought about bringing him back. Instead, decided to go with Kyle Snyder. He does have a -2 hits per 9, which isn't something that you want to get lowered, but control, walks per 9, and strikeouts per 9 are all increased by 2 or 3. I'm willing to try it out for a 3-year deal. First base coach, I'm offering Craig Counsell, -1 arm strength where we get reaction, stealing, and fielding. Third base coach is Josh Miller, -1 stealing where we get reaction, arm accuracy, and speed. And then lastly, farm director, he's got to be somewhere closer up here. Right here, Jim Pollard, blocking, fielding, plate discipline, and hits per 9. So we're offering big contracts, especially Mark Pryor, $7 million a year for a team with such a low budget. Maybe you can question a little bit, but I think there's 2 reasons. Like, getting the big pluses is awesome, but also having, top tier coaching staffs increases a lot of players' free agency interest in you. So I think we spend the money here, but it could save us money at other positions in free agency. So, and just re-signs as well. So this is where we're going to go. Let's see who of these guys signs with us, though. And then let's just talk about our budget before the season, before we start to simulate any days. So in episode 1 of this season, of this series, I laid out a couple of ground rules for how we're going to team build. One is that we are not allowed to spend the entirety of our budget. We are required to keep whatever is greater between 50 million or 25% of our revenue plus revenue sharing as surplus. In this case, it's 154 plus 30.6 for 154.6. 25% of that is like 31 million. So we have to have a surplus of 50 million by the end of this offseason. And then the other stipulation number 2, is we are not allowed to sign anyone for a value greater than $15 million per year in free agency, or trade for somebody with a contract that's larger than $15 million a year, as our owner just doesn't want to take risks like that and spend big money on somebody who might not have the impact. This second rule, maybe we can convince the owner to loosen up the restrictions at a later date, but with the team in the state that it is, I honestly agree that we shouldn't just be handing out massive contracts. We're not 1 player away. We're not 2 players away. So we're not going to give the big contracts to said players. So we have 3 exclusive rights free agents, and let's just see what Trevor May is asking for, because he was pretty good last year. We'd have to pay him $4.1 million to get this into the green. If we offered him closer, it was only 3.7, but I think we could get Streckenrider for maybe even a little bit cheaper than that. So I'm willing to save the money and just take a shot with Streckenrider for next year. Jesus Aguilar, don't think he's worth much. 20 home runs is 244. It's fine, but I'm fine to let him walk as well. Tony Kemp, like I said before, willing to bring him back maybe, but I'm not gonna. I want to see the market before I offered anything. So let's see. Let's sim through this week and see if any of our coaching staff come. We're obviously probably not going to get everybody, but if we can get the hitting coach and the manager, that would be stellar. Mark Pryor has accepted the Nationals offers. Manager. Okay, so manager is now off the board. We need to look elsewhere. Clutch, power, hits per 9 and arm strength here. Let's see. I like Pollard. We're already offering is. I think let's just go like a guy like Zach Milano. I just want to offer a 1-year deal at this rate. There's one guy that I really liked. Let's get a guy in for a year maybe and see if we can get somebody that we really like next year for a manager. We have first base coach accepted, farm director accepted, hitting coach. That was probably honestly the number one that I wanted. That and managers. So we got one of the two that we really wanted. Everyone else is saying yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we have our entire staff wrapped up, like 5 A's and a B, and the B is like honestly should be an A. So I'm gonna call that a success. Now let's hop into free agency, see who's available. Shohei Ohtani is obviously available. He would be sick, but way out of our price range. Getting, well over our budget, getting over $30 million a year from the Angels, and he's not even the fondest of that. So let's take a look at some of the positions that I want and who's available. I'm probably just gonna avoid anyone that's in the 80s. Severino looks like he could be had for less than $15 million a year. Pretty good looking player. Definitely interested in him, but getting a decently competitive offer from the Yankees. So I don't know about that one right now. Snell. Don't know if I love that idea. That's more than what we're really looking to attain. But Jack Flaherty here. Jack Flaherty I could be convinced by. So a couple of St. Louis Cardinals pitchers, they just won the World Series, but I'm interested in giving Flaherty like $9 million a year. $3 years, $27 million, or should we just offer him? No, I don't. I want to offer him less than what we're offering our ace, and we're also not promising him the ace role, even though he's technically one overall higher than May. That's the role that we've promised May, and I intend to keep that promise. So I think that's probably the high end offer. I'd also maybe like to give someone else like a 1-year offer while some of our other guys continue to develop. Sonny Gray here. I mean, Flaherty's not coming off the best year. Walks per 9 are a little bit high. Raise 6-1-3 whip. Looking for somebody who might have a little bit of strikeout upside here. It's too much. That's only thing is he's getting some money from that. Like, yeah, Montes is too much. Mikolas, we're just basically, should we just take everybody from the Cardinals? Wow, that's a really low strikeouts for 9. Yeah, that's not it. Syndergaard doesn't have strikeouts. Does have coming off a sub-3 ERA season though. Walks are really low. He just doesn't strike people out. That's fine though. I'd offer him $8 million for 1 season. So there's a couple of starting pitcher offers. Jose Alvarado's coming off a really good year. He has a 2-year $12 million offer out right now. Jordan Hicks, low walks per 9, but it did just increase by 8. We really are just looking at all the Cardinals are losing all their pitchers. This is incredible. Walks per 9 weren't even bad last year. Homers per 9, excellent spot. We're offering here to Jordan Hicks, I think something like a 2-year $12 would be an offer I'd make him. just because I don't want to go longer than 2 years right now, just because his walks per 9 is pretty bad still, and he might regress, and so I don't want to. Otherwise, I'd give him like 4 years easily, but I like that a lot. We have Matt Moore here. This could be like our another. I'd like to get better walks per 9 with our second guy. Yikes. Hudson here. Let's offer Daniel Hudson's like $3 million. Okay. And then an outfielder. Ian Happ. Switch hitter. Against righties, he's in the 60s for both contact and power, and then against lefties, he hits really good contact. I'm down on like a 3-year 30 with a player option. Middle infield. Let's take a look here at what we're looking at. Don't love that. This is fine from Wong. And then we're at Tony Kemp. So maybe bringing back Tony Kemp is the best we can do here. $4 million for him to come back next year. Let's take a look at shortstops. Alberto Mondesi is another switch hitter. Wasn't very good last year. Ahmed Rosario, though, could be like the second guy in the 80s that we go for. I'd be interested in giving him a 4-year deal for $7 million a year. That's in the green. I'd be willing to give you the 4-year 32 though, so that he likes it a lot more. Four years, $32 million for Ahmed Rosario. I think I'm down for that. I'm down for that. This could be like the second, the guy in the 80s that we're getting. And then first baseman, we want somebody who can hit lefties well. Garrett Cooper, getting a 1-year, $4.6 million offer. Scott McDaniel, 30 years old, looks like a generated player, but looks like a decent hitter over at first base. Eric Hosmer. Now, this is the kind of guy I'm looking for. Probably can get him for $2 million. $2 million. Great contact versus lefties, which is what we need to kind of complement Seth Brown. One could play versus righties, one could play versus lefties, I think. And that gives us this many offers. So this is a lot of guys that we would be bringing onto the MLB roster, but I think we need an influx of new players, right? Last year was very bad. We thought it was going to be, but I know we're not a year away. That's why a lot of these guys at the top, right? 28 years old, 28, 29, 27. It's not, and then these guys are getting the 1-year deals, right? So all the guys that we're offering multi-year deals to, A, they're not big. The biggest contract we are offering right now is $10 million a year. And B, they're guys that can still be either at their same spot or maybe even better by the time we get to year probably 4 would be the earliest that I feel like this team could probably compete, depending on how some of our draft picks develop. So I like this class of free agents. Let's switch gears to the arbitration and the tender contract to see where we're at in terms of leftover cash. So I just went through the tender contract screen, and everyone who I didn't want to tender a contract, I just released them so I could see where we're at. And that got us down to 78 players. So it looks like we're going to need to add quite a bit if we want to get up to that 93, because our offers right now are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And what did I say we needed? 15. So we're about halfway there. Probably just fill up the remaining 7 spots late in free agency with some guys that are asking for like 100K and could be some minor league guys. But let's go through tender contracts, kind of what we're looking at here. Everyone here now should have an offer if I did this right. Serious, did I accidentally release the wrong guy? Oh no, so they're still here even though I released them. That's fine. Okay. All those guys that didn't have an offer, we released them. We probably have to go forward a little bit. Now let's get into arbitration, where I'll show you guys this live because it's not as long of a list. Tender contracts, I wasn't going to show you that list because that's just kind of a tedious thing to do. I offer $3 million for Ramon Laureano. Seth Brown, I think we can increase this to, let's say, 50. Streckenrider, want to see if we can get him for like 2.5. Tyler Wade, we want to offer arbitration. We'll offer him 800K. Paprelian, I want to do we'll do 850 for him. And then Pruitt, I mean, if it's just, so we're at 16 out of 15 relievers. So I think we'll just offer these guys arbitration just so we can stay over that 850. Neither of them are looking like they'll be $1 million players. I don't love it for these two, but we're talking about minor league relievers. I'm not too worried about it at this point in the franchise. You know, I'm sure by year 4 or 5 we'll be heavily invested into everyone we got on the 93-man roster. I'm not at that point yet. So now we've taken care of arbitration. Maybe we can see what, yeah, if we offer him his arbitration, we'll just offer them arbitration just in case. What do we offer you in arbitration? 850,000. There's no way he accepts that. We'll offer them what we offered them in arbitration just to see if they accept it before that. 2.5 million. Goodness. Our boy here was like 850,000, something like that. Just kind of gauging what they think of our arbitration offers is a little bit funny. 850. Oh boy, yeah, he's not even interested in this at all. Look at that. I'd like to actually get you for less than. I don't know why you would accept that because it's less than what we just offered you in arbitration, but hey, there we go. Ready to start simulating some days here. Julio Urias goes to the Padres. Shohei Ohtani leaving the division to go to the Dodgers on a 9-year, $315 million deal. Has anyone accepted from us? No, but we're still the number 1 offer for all these guys. So we'll go forward a couple more days. We'll do that. And a lot of people have signed. Ahmed Rosario will play shortstop for us. Ian Happ will be our left fielder. Jordan Hicks is going to come in and be a top-end reliever for us. Noah Syndergaard is going to be with us on a 1-year deal. We have some additions to the squad. Still waiting on Hosmer and Jack Flaherty. Neither one has decided yet. Let's make sure we're not going to lose anybody. Oscar Colas, okay, and Gunnar Hoglund. We want both of these guys. I don't imagine either of them will actually play in the MLB next year, but we do want both of them on the squad long term. You know, Oscar Colas, his hitting stats are at a spot where I could maybe see him being a September call-up next year, so wouldn't rule that out at all. So let's see, anyone else? Some other guys here I wouldn't like to lose, but I think JT again I like. You know what? I don't want to lose JT again either. Where does that put us at in the 40 man? That puts us at 35-36. Okay. I like it. We don't need to stop for that. Jack Flaherty still has not said yes. There are more offers out there. Do we just increase it? Don't want to pay him more than our ace. I'm willing to go up and then give him the same though. You know what? We'll give him We'll give him 2 million more, so he's a little bit less paid than our ace. There we go. Hasn't said yes yet. Being very patient here. Let's simulate through November. CJ Cron going to Detroit. And Jack Flaherty has accepted a contract with Oakland Athletics. So far, the only thing we wanted that we weren't able to get was a manager. So let's take a look. Projected surplus now at 57 million. So we do not have a lot of room to play with if we wanted to sign anyone else. Got about 7 million of room at this point. Just take a look at the squad, see if there's anywhere we need to maybe look for. I wouldn't be mad at looking to see if we can get a 1 year around $7 million. I also wouldn't be mad at potentially looking at Rule 5 for this spot. We're just getting to the point where there's not really somebody that's actually an upgrade. You know what? I think we're going to go to Rule 5 draft and see if there's any intriguing catcher. But so first base is Seth Brown and Eric Hosmer. Second base is Tony Kemp. Third base is Jace Peterson. Oh, I thought I had to re-sign him. He's 4.8 this year. For some reason, I thought he was a free agent. I'm glad he wasn't because I totally forgot about him. Ahmed Rosario and Tyler Wade. Ian Happ and Rooker, I suppose. And then center field, Ruiz as a backup. But we have two guys playing right field right now. That Lawrence Butler is going to be our starting center fielder. I think we're looking. Obviously, this team's not good by any means, but when we started this franchise, the highest overall player was 77 overall. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players better than the best player when we started, and that best guy was 32 years old. All these guys are still in their 20s. You know, this isn't a 1-year rebuild by any means, but I think we're trending in the right direction. Must have all contracts tendered. No, I would not like to stop simulating. So we're up to 86 players. So, yep, I still need 7 more, but everyone else. So on the MLB roster, who's on our MLB roster that I don't think is actually going to be on? I want to get a good idea of who. So Waldichuk, the reason that I wanted center is I wanted Waldichuk and Muller this year to play AAA. I think it'll be better for their developments just based on where they're at right now. Waldichuk, I think, has succeeded a little bit more at the big leagues, and he doesn't have any glaring weaknesses. But that 35 walks per nine for Kyle Muller has bitten him quite often. This is correct. I think he's going to be AAA this year. I think you're going to be MLB, though. You're going to be AAA, probably. This is right. Dermis Garcia, we're just going to get out of MLB. These two are going to be playing MLB. Yes. And then Connor Capel, I don't think is going to play MLB for us this year. So we've got 25 players and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we could really use another pitcher. So, or we get a catcher and I just release Manny Pena, eat the $4 million. Hunter Renfroe. So the Angels aren't keeping their players. They're looking to regress this year. Let's go to the draft. We have the number 1 pick. Who do you recommend? Tanner Tully. Low walks per 9 here. Nick Whitgren. Wasn't very good last year. What's catcher looking like? Nobody worth releasing Manny Pena for and just eating $5 million. Only 1 game, so you can't really judge it. We're going to draft Brett Martin here. 28 years old with B potential. Is he ever going to reach it? Let's also look at Little. I like Brett Martin. So that'll give us our 26th MLB player to start the year. Yeah, we have a full 40 man. Yep. So that's all we could take as 1 player. That's all we wanted, though, is just a 26th the player and 13th pitcher. So there is our Rule 5 pick. And now we have more positions where we're not bottom 10 in the league. And no positions where we're 30th. We were 30th at multiple positions. And so we are not that anymore. That, I think, is a win. Just not being last. I think, honestly, a trade for Brian Reynolds to the Phillies for Brandon Marsh and Andrew Painter was like a top 10 prospect. Big get for the Phillies. Austin Nola goes for 6 years, nearly $20 million. Who's on the trade block right now? Giancarlo Stanton. power hitter, but he's kind of old. Maybe we should have looked at this for our last pitcher spot. But I think I like where we're at. Got some arbitration hearings coming up, and then we're practically done. Wade got a little bit more than we thought. And we won, Martin here. Coprelian won. Guerra won. Steckenrider won. And we won with Laureano. So batted about 500 there in terms of where we were at. But that's basically it for the offseason. Let's just take a look at where we're at compared to where we were. Pitching, I think, is the most improved thing we have. 3 pitchers better than what we had last time. And then, of course, can't forget about our rookies. Geraldo Soto here. Going to come in. Going to start all of our rookies at AA, at least, except for one. There's one that Buford McGowan's going to just be in single A because he's 45 overall. But Eduardo Silva, he is going to be in AA. Rene Hernandez. I'm going to take off that mustache between now and next episode, though. He'll be in AA. Garrett Dennis. We had a good Johnny Huerta. And then, of course, Geraldo Soto and Soto. I don't know why I'm calling Soto. And Boschno. So those are our rookies. All of them except for one will be on our AA team. So it should be another fun AA season. But we also called some guys from our AA up. Oscar Colas is going to play AAA this year. Tyler Soderstrom is going to play AAA this year. Zach Jaloff. And then, so I think our AAA this year is a lot more intriguing than it was last year. And our AA, remains very intriguing as well. So minor leagues, trending up. Major league roster, trending up. But still a very long way to go. That's all I have for this offseason. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon to start season 2. We'll be slowing down and showing a lot more of season 2. Season 1 was 8 episodes. I wanted to be in that 6 to 9 range. We ended right where I wanted it. This one, I'm going to guess, is going to be more like 15 episodes, maybe 12, 13. It kind of just depends on how bad we are. If we're really bad still, which could certainly happen, probably more like 12. If we're not probably more like 15. But that's the off season. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you guys liked the move. And I hope you're as excited for season 2 as I am, because I am very excited. Again, I'll be back soon with that episode, and I will see you then.